Hello,
Hey,
Sasha!
Jeffrey. Hi.
Well, what's new?
What's new? Like every day there is something is going on.
No, every day things are getting worse and worse.
It's crazy. So thank you for watching us, and hopefully you subscribing and.
We're in Los Angeles where there's curfews and riots and tons of National Guard that are costing the taxpayer because of this schmuck in the White House. $134 million there.
For
Plus
the parade?
Yeah, no, that's not the parade. That's for the National Guard. And plus he's got Marines there who are not allowed to be there according to the Constitution. According to you may not have active military people arresting or being involved with the rest of Americans on American soil. That's insanity. But he doesn't care. He's more interested in having his horse's ass stupid parade, which he had today, so he could show up. And in my opinion, he should be paid for that damn parade out of the money that he's ripped off from people in the Middle East and things like that. He can take the cost of that parade out of his ill-gotten crypto wealth.
Okay, perfect.
Your turn.
Jeffrey warmed up already.
I'm really pissed off about all of this.
So it's been challenged, like the National Guard challenge in court. Hopefully the judge puts standing order, and then the Ninth Circuit, I don't know
whether
put the hold on the hold. So
yeah, but it's until Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, so on Tuesday it will be resolved. But until today, they're sleeping on the floor. They being deployed.
Well, Trump's not going to get. Trump doesn't give a damn about the people who work in the military. As far as he's concerned, they could be sleeping in the gutter.
Okay. All right. So, killing of the assassin.
He's got all of these ill-gotten money, all the money that he stole from the Middle East, where his moronic sons are opening golf courses and things like that. He made billions of dollars. He could spend some of his ill-gotten billions and pay for the troops to live in decent accommodations.
But do we want the troops to be here, or maybe we just don't want them to be here?
We don't want them to be here, but if they're going to be here, that schmuck should be paid for.
Okay, perfect. So let's move on. Killing in Minnesota, assassination of the who is the senator, or his wife, and
she was one of the top politicians. She was I forgot the name of it.
And I just recently.
Anyway, and her husband was killed, and another one was also shot. But
then, in the hospital, I think husband and wife.
Right. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Because Trump is going around calling all Democrats socialists and scum. And every time he says that, there's some maniac who will listen to him and go out and shoot people.
And let me just...
For me, it's totally Trump.
Jeffrey, so let's not just forget about Fox News. No, I know, you didn't take your pills today. No. You should come here and take in some pills, like chill pills or something. But anyways, don't we want to call on the Fox News and other people who instigate that wherever Trump is?
No, they're owned by Trump.
Yeah, but they more enforcing that, they kind of amplify.
All the people in Fox News are too busy trying to get positions in the Trump government. What did he just hired some other? Do you know who? By the way, do you know who planned this military parade?
No.
You don't know who planned the military parade?
Putin?
No.
Who?
Trump hired a moron from Fox News who's 21 years old, and his job before that was as a driver.
Okay, so at least somebody is responsible from the parade. So what you're saying is just Trump calls for violence and stuff, but. For example, this Padilla, Alex Padilla, what is his name?
Guy. First of all, the only Hispanic senator, and one of the most liked people in the entire Senate.
But let's talk about the violence. The guy came to the Kristi Noem meeting or wherever conference. She was speaking, and the guy walked in, and before identifying himself,
that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true.
Tell us
He
what
didn't
happened.
walk in. His office is there. He came in
Office
there.
outside that
Yeah,
place where
but
he was.
he was escorted into the meeting because his meeting was delayed because she was having the news conference. So FBI and the police escorted him into the room where he was in the back of the room, and he stood there listening to what she had to say until she went berserk and started saying things that would have pissed anybody off. She's sitting there and she's finally saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to arrest the governor and the mayor of Los Angeles because they're all socialists and things like that." When she started doing that crap, that's when he's tried to ask a question. And as soon as he tried to ask and then the first thing he did, he identified himself. He's wearing the symbol on his shirt that says a member of Congress.
But Jeffrey, I saw, this is what I saw. And first, before identifying anything, he started walking toward the speaker,
No,
Christie.
that's not true.
Okay, so this is what I saw. Like, he started walking. They stopped him, and then he said, like, "Let me ask a question. Let me just this. I'm a senator." Like, but before he he started approaching first, and he's a big figure. Like, he's a big guy.
She certainly knew who he was.
But she was speaking.
It makes no difference. The point is that, have you ever been to a press conference anywhere?
No.
When you see the press conferences in the White House, in any press conference in the government, there's constantly people interrupting, trying to get the questions.
But he was going. Moving.
No, he was barely moving. The first thing he did was try to ask a question.
So
try to ask a question, and then when she ignored him, he tried harder.
Okay, so the point is,
but he did not threaten her in any way.
Right, but there is a procedure. She was speaking. He like, in my opinion, he forced forward. It doesn't matter, like, and the guards, like, whoever, like, special security service, they stopped him first, and he's kind of like,
yeah, but I don't agree with the order that you're saying. He asked the question. As soon as he started to ask the question, that's when the guards started pushing him, and
Why would they push him, like, when he was speaking?
To make sure to not let him speak.
Okay, so you guys, like, watch the video, like, have your opinion. My thing is this: so every side, Trump or Democrats or whoever, they try to play different sides of politics.
I have to. Normally, if this would have been in a normal administration with a normal person giving the speech on that podium, this woman is not normal. This woman is causing all the problems that we have in Los Angeles. And the next person who's causing all the problems is this bulldog who's head of ICE.
Hold on, let's stay with this and then move on. The problem is this, like, in my opinion, again. So, like, if one lady, like, Christina, the secretary of wherever, like, she is, like, what is her, like, Department
of Makeup and Hairstyle.
Okay, so if she is, like, speaking, even she's, like, a very bad person, like, not actually, she's not competent in her position. I agree with that, but doesn't, as senator has like also, like, needs to be polite and just even
not when I don't agree. Not when somebody is spouting nonsense and spouting
violence
and spouting insults about the governor and the mayor of Los Angeles.
But he could just, like, wait until she says that, and then like
it was after she said that he said, "I have a question."
Okay.
And as soon as he said, "I had a question," he was attacked, and that's what happened.
Okay, so again,
and he already made it clear that he was a senator. And
okay, so
do you know who actually had him released from the handcuffs?
No.
Do you remember? One of Trump's guys, Lewandowski.
Ah, okay.
He's the one who said, "Release him."
Yeah.
Wasn't her.
Yeah.
It wasn't her or the people that should never put the handcuffs on in the first place. But Corey Lewandowski is the one who actually said, "You must release him right away."
Yeah, this is ridiculous. But again,
this is Trump. This is what happens when you have a dictator in the White House.
So let's like kind of like signify what's going on. Trump is like creating violence wherever like you agree or not. Because like we need like some kind of calmness, and calling each other like names, it just creates, look, people start being killed, like political assassination.
Personally, I think that's what he wants. I really believe Trump wants to start a war in the United States.
But not a war, but he needs like discourse to take control, kind of like to bring the military and
now that's what the whole thing is about. He's trying to take over the country by getting by pretending that he has a right to release the military on the continental United States, and this is sick.
It just what else like significant happened? I want to just touch on other points.
Well, let's see let's see what he's accomplished so far. So far, he said he's going to stop all these wars in 24 hours and becoming president.
Nothing.
Ukraine is going to probably stop the war because they're fighting intelligently, and Russia
and Europe is supporting Ukraine.
Yeah,
America doesn't tell us. Like, he's been on the phone with Putin, and he just doesn't say a word against aggression.
Putin owns him.
Okay.
He owns him. I have a feeling that famous pee-pee tape actually exists.
Okay, so he owns him. So like he promised the war to be stopped, like in Middle East, in Ukraine, nothing happened. What else?
Israel
just striked Iran, and basically what happens, like United States and Iran war in negotiation. But we don't have any position with Iran to negotiate, and Trump is kind of like a master of negotiation, but he constantly doesn't have a...
Trump is only a master of BS.
Yeah.
BS. He has nothing intelligent to say. He's not intelligent enough. He doesn't read. We have a president.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but we have a president in there who knows nothing about foreign policy. He knows nothing about economics. He's destroying the country with these moronic tariffs. He's destroying the world with his moronic tariffs. California, you have to realize this is an important place. California is the 4th largest economy in the world.
And yet we're like...
and we're being destroyed by this government.
Jeffrey, we are not being destroyed. Like, that's the whole point.
We're trying to be destroyed by
Okay, but you think... Hold on. Democrats are destroying California. Don't you agree with that? No, okay. So let's think about that. 30 years ago, the sales tax was about 4.5%. 4.5%. So today it's 10%, 10.5% or 10%.
What's the sales tax around the United States?
7%. Okay, but it does. The point is this: California is the largest volume in sales state. So what happens? It's not just you increase the sales tax rate. By itself, when you buy something and sell something, it's growing. You don't need to increase the rate. It's going to grow by itself. But California, 2.5 times for 30 years, multiply the rate. Forget about the volume of transactions. Now, real estate is growing in value. So we're getting revenue from real estate, from sales tax, income tax. Income tax now, it used to be 5-6%. Now it's 12-13% income tax rate. Then you go excise tax on gasoline. You go gasoline maybe 80 to 90 cents on the pump.
Yeah, the taxes in California are terrible.
Yeah, but where's the money going?
A lot of it is actually coming back to Californians.
No, it doesn't come. Where does it come?
No, look, California has a lot of problems. They have climate problems. They have pollution problems, things like that.
Which country, state doesn't have and country
Not
doesn't
like
have?
California. California, because of the volume of cars or whatever, and also, global warming is very serious in California. Any coastal city is at risk with climate.
Yeah, but again, we've got so much taxes. Healthcare suck. Like you go we don't have money like for police, burglaries, other crimes. It's up. Everything you go in the street.
I'm not sure that's true, because I think the crime rates are lower in California now than they were like 4 or 5 years ago.
I have so many clients who say listen, they were burglarized and they don't even report. So there is no point. The cars, it just so much is going on, and we have the biggest state, and you say we have a most valuable, more rich state, but where's the money? Do you know where's the money?
No.
Okay, so we have so much government within the state. They getting so much money. They getting pension. So much is going out of on a personal level. We're just I don't know. It's just mismanaged
but
state.
I think that same mismanagement is all over the country, not just California.
Right, but other states don't pay so much taxes. We pay so much taxes and disappears.
When we vote, every 2 years or 4 years, do you ever see all the extra things that we have to vote for?
Of course, I do it. Of course, I
Do you vote for those things, or you vote against them?
I vote for no. It depends what we're voting for. In general, I'm voting for print. If there is a special law, I'm reading this and I'm just voting either for or against.
Okay, well, a lot of this money that you say is being wasted because everybody voted for those what do they call the parts of the
special law? But this is that's why in my book I'm saying that you have to pay attention for local election and laws that you guys voting for. Forget about who is the president, because president doesn't make any difference on a local state. You see what is going on. We are trying this is also part of the problem. Why all the local authorities are supporting illegal immigration? Illegal, not legal.
Yes, but it's one thing to. I don't believe it's as bad. The support is that bad. For one thing, the immigrant community in this city, especially, is necessary for the city.
We are talking about illegal.
Yeah, but fine. But even the people who are trying to become legal are being arrested while they're trying to become legal.
Right,
and that's all over.
Okay, so
ICE is out of control.
Okay, Jeffrey. So,
ICE is bad.
Can I just say this? So basically, because ICE is bad, we have to just close our eyes on.
No, you have to do it correctly.
I agree but hold on. But before Trump did anything or anybody, what the Democrats of this state did to curb.
It doesn't matter. The situation now is there's almost no illegal immigration coming over the border. Trump has accomplished what he wanted to do. He stopped illegal immigration in California. Nobody's trying to break in anymore. More people are probably trying to break out.
But
he still wants to arrest every single immigrant.
But you deviate him.
You can't do that.
But you deviate him. Trump is not. He's a problem, but it's a different problem. You said you're happy with California, but if you try to do any job in California, you want to do anything, it's so corrupt. You have to wait so much. It's not a good place to do business anymore.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's fair for people who have lived here 10, 15, 20 years, have established a lifestyle here? They may not be documented, but they're paying their taxes. They're doing everything.
They cannot pay their taxes.
They do.
If they're illegal.
No,
I know. How do you know? I know this.
Because
I'm 30 years in this business.
But the businesses pay taxes for this.
No, they don't pay. They pay cash to these guys. You hire like this is the whole this is illegal immigration creates problems for everybody. If the guy not hold on, it's not even it's even against these guys who are working for illegally, so they cannot claim disability, unemployment, in any workers' compensation claims. They illegal. They cannot claim anything. So other people taking employers and otherwise they taking advantage of these guys. So it's the point is this.
I don't think.
Where did we start?
That might be for a section of them, but everybody, I don't think so.
Okay, let's go by departments.
Let me ask you a question. Like right now, the thing that I noticed, which I was disgusted by, you have fields. I mean, in Ventura, you have miles and miles of strawberries that are ripe on the vines.
Okay.
And they're going to rot on the vines because all the people who have to pick them are not allowed in the fields.
No, that's not. The point is not about that. The point should be that our government, California government, should create these agencies to hire these guys, to bring them to work.
Thank you. That's fine, but he doesn't care about doing that. He only wants to arrest them.
Hold on. Trump came couple of months before he was 4 years. What happened for 30, 50, 60 years in California? So today you just start putting everything on Trump. We talked about We talked about what happens to California. In California, look, people illegally worked. They being used. And they bring, when they establish, even though they illegally here, they bring their families. These families, children, wherever, whoever, they can go to school after 1 year being in California, then can attend the schools, they can go to colleges, and then who pays for it? If the guy, let's say, bring the family of his wife and 2 kids, who's gonna pay for their education if he gets $20, let's say, per hour cash? Who's gonna pay for medical, all this stuff?
Who pays for it now?
We pay, because when you see, you go to veterans hospital, but I go to the hospital, the charges that people who pay being put on these people who pay. You charge at the hospital $1,000.
Okay, so now what happens to the companies that own the fields?
What do you mean? What happens?
What happened? Look, the people who own the cornfields, the people that own the bean fields, the people that own the strawberry field. So they work very hard. They plant the berries and things like that, and then they say, "Fine, let them rot in the ground."
No, it's not the point.
Who's going to pick them?
Okay, the point.
Let's answer that question.
Okay, the point is that
personally, I think they should get the National Guard. If they're gonna make the National Guard arrest everybody, put the National Guard out in the field.
That's
and
how
let
it's
them
been in Soviet Union.
Huh?
That's in Soviet Union. When I was in army, we would pick the crop and stuff like that, and students would go to fields. But the point is not who. You see, you're saying oh, okay, that's fine. So let's bring the illegal immigrants. Let it go like this. But it's not the answer. The answer is we started from California. Why in California we just is mismanaged state? Because nobody cares about illegal or not. They let them work. They because for example, if illegal comes to work for me, I have, let's say, for example, if I have a construction company, I can offer to other people cheaper rates. So then they push away the guys who bring the workers' compensation, liability insurance. They try
just like Trump did in his hotels. Half the people working in the Trump enterprises were illegal immigrants.
But we're deviating. The point is this is mismanaged state. And that's why Trump came to power, because nobody takes care of the law. And then
well, here's the thing. Then fix it. But cruelty should not be should not be the method. And right now, Trump is the cruelest. Trump and all these people that work for Trump, for me, are the cruelest people who have ever been in power in this country, except for maybe Mussolini and Hitler. And it's true. For instance, let's talk about they got rid of they tried to kill this AIDS thing. So 300,000. We're not talking about 300. 300,000 children just died in Africa because of Trump and Musk. That is fact. And then before that, when Trump was in power the first time, 1 million people in this country died of COVID because of his incompetence. Biden came in and he actually got the cures on the table and people started to live. Trump didn't care. He only cared about his image. There was a boat off of Seattle. He didn't want these people to come into the country because it would change his numbers. He didn't care about the people on the boat.
Yeah, so like incompetency of Trump is very huge. In COVID, he starts suggesting that if you take like some kind of cure, like idiotic cure, I don't remember, like and you will be cured, like you don't need like any vaccine and stuff. But I agree with you that Trump is not just incompetent, he brings the chaos.
He's ignorant.
He brings the chaos and try to fix the chaos that he brought.
Chaos.
Thank you. So no, please. And it just, so I agree with you, Jeffrey. So my point is this: he didn't come for nothing. He came like in California. Like if I start like going by segment, like you try to let's say you become a wealthy, or you had.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Because basically there is a method. People have to go. They have to do all the paperwork to become legal.
Right.
So what are they doing now? So these people are actually doing the paperwork. They're showing up at the court to become legal, to fill in all the paperwork, and ICE is waiting outside to arrest them after they get the papers. This is normal?
I didn't say this is normal.
Yeah, but that's what all these demonstrations are about.
No, the problem is this: you came here illegally.
So they did, but they came here illegally because they were being threatened in the countries where they were.
Okay, so let's open the borders.
There weren't, but there's not enough judges and people to do that.
Right, so don't bring them. Because I stayed like maybe 3-5 years, I stayed in line to get my visa. There are people currently who put the paperwork.
Were you in this country when you stood in line?
No, outside.
Huh?
Outside in Soviet Union. So it's a process. If you come illegally and use first there are no service available.
Let me interrupt again. So it's a process, but you were allowed to participate in the process in the Soviet Union, correct?
Not. What do you mean allow?
Were you allowed to apply to come to the United States while you were in the Soviet Union?
The Soviet Union didn't allow me apply. I applied through the embassy. You applied through the.
Okay, but there was a method to do that in the Soviet Union. You could go to the embassy and apply for this.
Okay.
What do you do if you're in a country like Venezuela or Colombia, where if you stay 5 more minutes, you and your family will be shot and murdered?
Hold on. Based on what? On the religion, ethnicity,
gangs and corrupt government.
Yeah, but then it's like, you see,
so you just stay there and you pray you won't get killed. There's no place there's no place to apply like you apply. You have to get to the border and try to get into the country. And then when you get to the border, you're supposed to be able to go, at the border and apply for asylum.
I agree with you. I'm very lucky. And my family is very lucky that we had this chance. The problem is this: it's not that half of the Soviet Union, which is like 300 or 200 million people, would like to come to United States. Would you let them to come to United States? Almost like maybe 50 or 60% of every South American country.
For good Pelvadian Vareniki, of course.
yeah. But you see, like maybe 60-70% of South America countries would like to come to United States. Would you allow them to come?
If there's a way to set up a
viable
legal process to do it,
there is no way because you don't have money.
But there must be a process to be able to make it legal. Because if they make it legal to the point where these people may not be full citizens, but they do have to pay taxes, they do have to pay for medical and things like that, is that possible?
Jeffrey, it's not possible because you have to understand, you bring people without any skills. There is no job waiting for them. And they bring, like, let's say, the family of 4 people, 1 person or 2 person working for $20 an hour. It's not going to make it for the country to sustain, to service those families.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Let me put it this way: if they're only costing $20 or $30 an hour to do that, how much are the strawberries selling for in the markets after they're picked? Is that bringing in profit?
No, it's like you don't understand. It's such a it's not like strawberry. What profit? Like there it's just insane. It's just like you have to. There should be numbers on it, like to discuss this. Like we need to understand the numbers. There is not such a profit. That's why they bring in.
But there are some jobs that Americans won't do.
So who cares?
Who's going to eat? Okay, nobody wants to work in the fields. Nobody wants to work
Jeffrey,
in the...
you're mixing...
Hold on.
I'm
sorry.
Hold on, you're mixing illegal immigration with immigration.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about business. No, farmers are getting screwed. Meatpacking plants are getting screwed. All the hotel industries are getting screwed. They cannot do business without these people.
Has nothing to do with illegal immigration.
Sure.
That's why the government. Hold on.
Replace them. Find a replacement for the illegal immigrants.
Okay. The point is this: in my book, again, it says how to do with.
Don't say it says how to do it. Explain it.
It's going to take like hours to explain.
No,
let people read. But hold on.
Simple question.
Okay, please.
Simple question. In other words, if these people are not allowed to do the jobs that we desperately need, I'm sorry, the fields desperately need people to pick the produce. Whether it's hotels or cleaning or house service or things like that, things that worked for the last century. Everybody made it work fine.
Okay, hold on. And you for example, Musk and other executives, they asking to open up the visa for people who they need fill up the positions. So they talk to administration to not to stop those visas. That's how you do it. So the executives, the companies, they apply to the government to open up the visa for the positions they need. That's how you do it.
What just happened yesterday?
What happened yesterday?
So Trump goes on the news, says, okay, we're going to make a change. We're going to make it more lenient for the people that work in the fields, for the people that work in the hotels, for the people. He lied in his goddamn teeth, and then he told everybody today, no, we want to arrest everybody. Okay. He's a liar. He's a fruitcake.
Hold on, Jeffrey. So basically the point is this. Again, Trump is just today. But before 10 years, 5 years, 4
Forget
years.
10 years. It doesn't matter what happened 5 minutes ago. It matters what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. The fields.
So what do you want?
The field. We want somebody to go in the fields and pick the pick
so
the crops. We want people.
Okay, so you don't want any rules.
No, we want the rules to be adjusted so that these people, even though they may not be. That they're not, most of these people, 99% are not criminals. They're not MS-13.
Okay,
hold on. He said he was going.
Gotcha.
He said he was going to arrest
Forget about
criminals.
him. So you're saying like, okay, so let's open up the borders and people will come.
I'm not saying that.
So what are you saying?
I am saying Trump said they're only going to go after the criminals. And he's going after, he hasn't arrested one criminal.
Forget about Trump.
But that's what we have to deal with. What do you mean forget about Trump? Trump is the one who's created the mess.
Hold on. I'm asking you to understand what do we do with people, like filling up the positions. We need to talk about the issues, because if you're talking to a person who is insane, if he doesn't have any answers, you will not get anywhere. So you need
But we don't have to accept his lies.
Okay, so again, we will start talking about Trump.
But Trump is the reason. We never had this problem before.
Because we never addressed that problem.
No, everybody addressed it. In fact, Biden was deporting more people than Trump is deported. What's his name? Obama deported more people than Trump.
And again, like for example.
But they did it properly. They deported the people who really needed to be deported. They didn't just go to the Home Depot parking lots and arrest everybody.
Let's end with this.
Yeah.
Don't you agree that should be some laws that would govern illegal immigration, legal immigration, positions so there should be laws.
I agree totally, but it can't happen when you have an administration with the level of incompetence that it can never happen.
Okay, so
these people.
Hold on, I got it. Hold on.
They're just cruel people.
Okay, gotcha. So with Trump, we cannot achieve anything laws at the low level, right? So what about Democrats or other opposition offering any laws that will resolve the issue?
The open borders that we suffered with before, when people were rushing over the border, but one of the reasons they were rushing over the borders was because of all the terrible things that were happening in Central and South America.
Okay, and
can't do anything. That's happening outside the country. So we either close our borders.
Just for answer that question. So don't you agree that if there is Trump and his like illegal things what they do, like stupid or incompetent, don't you agree that there should be opposition which says like, look, we have laws, we have ideas, let's implement those.
Okay, but you just saw today millions of people all over the country in opposition to what he's doing. Because
what they offering?
It's not that what they're offering. They're trying to stop what's absolutely horrible. You cannot when you have this total bald-headed schmuck in the White House, Miller, who say no, I want to arrest 3 million people a day.
Okay,
this guy should be in El Salvador.
And look.
It can't happen.
Jeffrey, I understand, but if you want to resolve any issue, you have to offer something. You cannot just...
You offer even half of what they had with Obama.
Offer anything.
And half of what they had with...
Offer anything.
Do it properly. If somebody...
What properly?
I already told you, if somebody goes to court because they were told to go to court, fill out the documents and you can stay, and they go and they fill out the document, and then these schmucks from ICE are waiting.
Hold on.
And then these schmucks from ICE are waiting outside and arrest you when you come out.
So what we're going to finish today at this. So there is like a total disarray, and what Jeffrey is offering, he says like, hey guys, we cannot do this. It's totally crazy. It's inhuman.
Thank you.
Okay. From my side, what I say is, hey, offer something. if you cannot offer, there's in a book everything like what you need to do, because you cannot say that Trump is idiot and everybody blah blah blah. Offer something, offer the solution, and then it's easy to show this is how we should do and this is what we cannot do.
And remember that we are a country of immigrants. My grandparents were immigrants. My grandparents came from Ukraine. Everybody I know came from another country. Everybody.
So we need to
and they came in here. They came into Ellis Island in New York, and
Jeffrey, let's close it.
And it worked.
So let's come together. Let's put down the temperature. Jeffrey didn't take his pills today, but
I'm very angry about what you.
Many people.
And especially when you have our dictator in chief throwing himself a military parade.
Let's agree on this. If you don't offer the solution and being simply angry, it will not lead anywhere.
Well, but to sit there and say that for me, the solution is simple. Follow the laws that we have.
Okay.
They're not doing that. They're not doing that. They're going into communities like the Gestapo. That's not following the laws that we have. And they're breaking the laws. Everywhere they're going, they're breaking the laws.
Okay, so what do you think, guys?
Due process is the rule of America.
What do you think about our discussion? Please participate.
Okay.
Sign up.
Remember, due process.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but this is...